Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JB, and welcome to Jay's Pod. I'm your host. I'm doing this. This is my thing, but not really. It's your thing. It's our thing. We're doing this together. Welcome to the very first episode of Jay's Pod. We're a podcast that's for fans, by fans. I'm not a sportscaster. I'm not an MLB expert. The only experience I have is I was on the radio many years ago. But other than that, I have no knowledge of how to do sports broadcasting. So this here is for you. It's for us to talk. It's for us to do this together. If you'd like to connect with us, we are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. It's just Jay's Pod. That's it. That's all there is. But every week, more than every week, after every game, we're going to have a new episode. We're going to recap the games before. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to let me try that again. That's the thing. We got to do this together. We will make our predictions, is what I meant to say, for the next game. And we're going to do this together. Now, this is free. It's a podcast. It's on all your fancy-dancy smartphones out there, but if you'd like to support the show, we would love that as well. You can do so on Patreon for just $1 a month. You get all our access to our bonus content and all that fun stuff, so we can keep this show free and we can make it better as well. That's the end goal. I want to do this live. I want to do post-game shows. I have all these ideas, and we're creating a network here, so we want to be able to reward ourselves for that. So if you'd like to support, link is in the description of this podcast, as well as on our Twitter and Facebook when the episode goes up. So, what do we talk about? Jays haven't started yet. It's still, well, the preseason's over. It just finished. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to wrap up the preseason today. We're going to go over the 25-man roster that posted as well. And the big story, obviously, this week, while they were in Montreal, John Gibbons' contract was extended. We're going to talk about that, and we'll make our predictions for the season. And on a Jay's Pod exclusive, I already have an exclusive. Isn't that cool, guys? So on this show, at the end, we will make our predictions for the next game, and we will also run it through a simulator. We're going to run the game through MLB The Show with the current rosters and see what the outcome is. And then on the next episode, we'll compare it. We'll go from there.
What's the postseason?
So, preseason wrapped up yesterday when I record this with the final game in Montreal, with Jays beating the Pittsburgh Pirates. Scored a 6-4. Francisco Liriano was on the mound, and I have to say, did a fantastic job. They won. The game before that in Montreal with Marcus Stroman on the mound tied, which is weird to see in baseball. Not used to that, but it's just the way the preseason goes. Overall, preseason probably wasn't what the Jays wanted to see, and hopefully they don't see this way throughout the season, but finished bottom of the league, very bottom, with a record of 12 wins, 18 losses, 0.4 percentage. 10 games behind the New York Yankees, which won the preseason for the American League, and the entire league, the entire MLB. Yankees won. So what does this mean, though? Well, let's put this into perspective here. Stroman barely pitched because he was in the World Baseball Classic, which he won the MVP, and the U.S. won the World Baseball Classic. Bautista was playing for the Dominican. Donaldson was hurt. Tulo was hurt or out. I don't really know. Tulo didn't really play that much. The big names of our team did not play, but what we did see was we saw a bullpen that was deep and was pitching well. We have a good bullpen here, folks. I can't think of another time in Jay's history where we had this strong of a bullpen. And that was just in the preseason. Our rotation going into the regular season is amazing. It's fantastic. We have to be proud of the things this team is going to do this year with this bullpen. This bullpen is going to win us games alone, let alone the Donaldsons and the Bautistas. That bullpen is going to do. And I think about the last two games in Montreal. We played very, very strong against Pittsburgh. We basically had our MLB lineup minus Bautista. And we beat them very well, very confidently last game. And we tied them the game before. and we were playing very well. It was great games to watch. So when it comes to the preseason is where we try things, right? And I have no doubt that this team is going to do well this year, based off of what I have seen. And it's in my unprofessional opinion that we played the games we played in the preseason on purpose. We needed to try some things out, try some new rotations, try some pitchers that we normally wouldn't. Give those younger guys, give those prospects a chance to prove themselves. And we got somebody out of that, Steve Pearce, who's made the 25-man roster. So, I mean, we can debate this about the preseason, but the games don't count in the end of the thing. We can't really look at the preseason because on top of us not doing that well, we weren't playing teams that had their full roster as well. So I think the preseason serves a good purpose, but also we can't really look at the numbers and justify our whole season based off of the only 12 wins we had and 18 losses. So we weren't the worst team, though. San Diego and Atlanta were worse than us, but they're over in the National League. So let's talk about the 25-man roster. So that puts up the preseason. Nothing really else to talk about there. It's preseason. It is what it is. The 25-man roster was tweeted out and on their Jays Facebook today, April 2nd. Key things to note. Big names are in it, obviously. Bautista, Donaldson, Carrera, Estrada. Darwin Barney made the 25-man roster. J.A. Happ, sorry. Dominic Leon, Loop is in there. Russell Martin, obviously. Steve Pearce made the 25-man roster, which is awesome to see. Great outfielder. He can really fill that gap when Bautista's not playing or hurt or just not on his game. I mean, he's no Kevin Pillar or anything. He's not like a center fielder, but he definitely holds up that left side very good. Salty's in there, Aaron Sanchez, Joe Smith, Justin Smoke, Marcus Stroman, Tepera, Travis Tulo. If I missed anybody, Goins, and Biagini and all that. Good lineup. Now, some notable absences here. Osuna, Schultz, Sparkman, and Pompey will start the year on the DL. I didn't know Osuna was hurt. I saw him pitching in the bullpen in Montreal, and he looked fine. Maybe there's something that we don't see, but he looked okay. I don't see him not pitching for the majority of the year. Maybe he just needed some rest, or maybe there is something that we just don't see. But he's on the DL. He's starting the year on the DL. Melvin Upton Jr. Did not make the 25-man roster. I'm not sure where he's going. I'm not sure if he's going down the 40-man or what, but he's not playing on opening day. He's not even on the roster, which is interesting because he hit that massive home run in Montreal yesterday. And he's always been somebody who, when he comes up to the plate, I think towards the end of last season, he was a solid at-bat. He could hit the ball. So not sure what's going on there, if he wanted more, wanted to play more, or wanted to higher up in the lineup, and that just wasn't happening. I can't really speculate on that, but who knows. Terry in SoCal on Twitter, at Terry in SoCal, if replying to the Blue Jays saying, I knew Salty would make it, but I'm really happy Darwin Barney did a great job. I can't even read it. Just a great player who's underrated. I agree. That's why I captured this. Darwin Barney has impressed me as a fan over the last little bit. And I think he's going to do great things this year on the roster. And Salty as well. He proved himself in the preseason. He was a great acquisition for the Jays. And I think he's going to do wonders. Yeah, so I'd like to know what you think. Tweet me at JacePod. I'd love to talk to you about this and debate this with you. But that's the 25-man roster.
We don't need a banana. No. We need a champagne. Yeah? Yeah, champagne.
Okay, so here's the story of the week. Probably all the preseason, honestly. John Gibbons, our skipper in for the Toronto Blue Jays was extended his contract. This is from the Globe and Mail. The Toronto Blue Jays rewarded John Gibbons for making back-to-back American League Championship Series appearances by extending his contract through 2019 with a club option for 2020 on Saturday. Gibbons, who spent parts of 9 seasons as the Toronto skipper, helped the franchise end a 22-year postseason drought in 2015. He guided a team back to the playoffs last year, and with his 644 wins as manager, ranked second all-time in Blue Jays history next to Cito Gaston. As far as succession on the field, my ultimate goal is to win a championship and hopefully more than that, said Gibbons ahead of Saturday's exhibition game against the Pittsburgh Pirates in Montreal. We've come close to get to the World Series last year, and we want to do it this year. So, that's that. Now, I was scrolling through Twitter, and this kind of got some mixed reviews from the fans, and I don't see why. John Gibbons, it says it right in the article, in that 3 paragraphs, and this Globe and Mail article was pretty extensive with his history with the Jays and the things that he has done, but John Gibbons was able to take a 22-year drought from making the postseason and made it happen. Now, some will argue that was a lot of Double-A's acquisitions and all these other things. But when it comes down to it, he is still the manager. He is the manager of the team. He is the one that makes the lineups, picks the rotations. It was his motivation, it's his goal and his guidance that gets the Jays to where they are. That's why he's the manager. That's why they picked him. And when it comes down to it, he ended a 22-year postseason drought. Now, he was aided with great acquisitions and a star player, MVP player in 2015. So that definitely helps him, and it gives him a lot on his tool belt. But he still has to manage that tool belt. He's the manager. So, this came out on April 1st, the story. B-Love on Twitter, at Brandon Lovery, says, hopes this is an April Fool's joke. Shannon G, at Shady78, says, well-earned Gibby, took his team to ALCS 2 years running. Hashtag go Jays go. And Joe Zangi, at, I don't even want to try to say it, but all he says was not a good manager. And he's quickly replied with several people, my favorite being by Blacksock, at Blacksock_24. Tell me what a good manager is. What do they do? And there was no replies from him. So it comes down to, if you look at the fans that are chirping this decision, there's no content. They can't speak their mind about why he's not a good manager. When I was going through the Twitter comments, there was absolutely nothing of substance saying why he is not good. With the people that were saying he was good, saying he broke a 22-year drought, we went to the LCS 2 years in a row, we have a phenomenal team, and he manages it well. So, in my opinion, I think he's a good manager, and I think he deserved the contract extension. He's proven it. Again, it comes down to the fact that we made the playoffs after 22 years. And we've been in the LCS twice. Despite all odds last year, we made it. And if we stayed healthy, we could have gone to the World Series, in my opinion. But that's what this year's for. So that leads us to our next part of the show, season predictions. So I am going to say it right now on this unverifiable, young, brand new podcast. Jays will make the playoffs this year. Probably in a wild card spot, definitely. But if the bullpen can deliver and the hitters can stay healthy, I think we can win the AL East. Yeah, we lost Edwin to the Cleveland Indians, which hurts. It stings. But Morales is great. He's a good hitter. He brings power. He's a switch hitter, which is everything you need on the plate. He can bat middle in the lineup, and he can bring it home. He can bring some RBIs home. So, saying that, Bautista's got fresh off a contract extension. This is Donaldson's last year on on his current contract. I may be wrong on that, but that's just what I'm to understand. And we have a solid lineup. And we're backed by people that we can bring up. We talked about Melvin Upton Jr. Yeah, he's not on the roster right now, but, he can hit. All of them can hit. I'm looking at the roster here, and I don't see anybody who can bat and comes up to that bat that hasn't hit. Darwin Barney against the Baltimore Orioles, which we play next, hits 500 against them. There's multiple people that hits 500 against Baltimore Orioles, and we play Baltimore a bajillion times this year because they're in our league. So I think we'll make the playoffs, definitely in a wild card spot. And again, if the bullpen can deliver, if we can keep that bullpen going, we have one of the best rotations in baseball. And the hitters stay healthy, I think we can win the AL East. Period. I'd like to know what you think about this, because this is a matter of debate at Jays Pod on Twitter, at Jays Pod on Facebook. Okay, let's move on to MLB The Show. Okay, so what we do here is we run the just a simulated game through MLB The Show. This is no way sponsored by them, although if they would like to, my phone is on. So we ran it. We updated the rosters to what the current rosters are, both for the Jays and the Orioles, from all the information that I could find, and run a simulation game. Blue Jays at Baltimore at 3:05 p.m. We had the Jays beat the Baltimore 3-2 in full time. No extra innings. Quick recap of that is that Bautista and Morales hit a home run, and Donaldson doubled. That brought home Kevin Pillar in the fourth. Now, I didn't know the batting lineup because that's not out yet, but so I just kind of made it just anything with what I think would be based off of what we saw last year. But we beat the Baltimore Orioles 3-2, according to MLB The Show. Great way to start off the year, I think. So next game. Short podcast today because, again, we're not recapping the previous game. We're not going inning by inning. We're not breaking down any plays. We're not doing anything like that. This is just to get you hyped up, folks, to get you going for the next year. Next game is tomorrow, if you're listening to this on April 2nd. Monday, April 3rd, 2017, 3:05 p.m. at Camden Yards. Blue Jays at Orioles. Marco Estrada takes the mounds for the Jays, and Kevin Gausman on the mound for Baltimore. It's going to be a great day. I'm excited. According to the Jays Twitter, it is cap day, so wear your Blue Jays hats proud, folks. It is time. The Jays are ready to go. It is the season time. So that will do it for this first quick episode of Jays Pod. My name is JB. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Jays Pod. Facebook at JaysPod, facebook.com/JaysPod. And if you'd like to support the show and see what we can do with this thing, give us some love on Patreon. Like I said, $1 a month can go a long way to getting us going. Yeah, so that's that. That's this episode of Jays Pod. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.